to what he has to say.
I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge of the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody, to the December 5th meeting. It's been a full month since we've met. Minutes of November 7th. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills. We have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There was one payment to Cintas for a large, it was $6,000, and I think it was for some type of training material. Was that for yesterday's training?
Yes.
Train, okay, Dan.
No,
From that.
for 12 months, yes. It's a new
Yep.
program.
Okay.
It was an OSHA program?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a class a month for 12 months.
very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Employee of the quarter presentation.
Yes, I'd like to read our, does it work?
Okay.
I want to make sure everybody can hear me because it's such an important event.
Closer to you, first of all.
I know, but it's not. Okay.
I don't think there's room.
Okay, the town of Elkton's employees of the quarter, Ed Dow, Brian McQueen, and Roy Miller, valued members of our Department of Public Works Public Service team. Special recognition is given to these employees for their collaborative effort to design, construct, and implement the floating boat dock in Marina Park. And that's it right there in that photo, which I took on August 13th of this year. And unfortunately, we had a flood, and that's why the water looks so muddy. The dock is fine. Which added another recreational asset to the park by providing a convenient means for small watercraft owners to launch and temporarily dock their boats on Big Elk Creek. Ed Dow's welding skills, Roy Miller's assistance in constructing the dock, consisting of 5 articulating sections, and Brian McQueen's procurement and necessary materials result in the first-class product. We thank these members of DPW's public service team and award them the third quarter of 2018. I see Roy's in there.
All
They're
three.
dead.
Come on up.
They're
Come on up.
These 3 people love to be in the limelight, especially Ed.
All right.
Dan's gonna get a picture taken.
Hey, Dan?
Yeah.
Here's a certificate. I'm gonna take my picture.
There you go. Next to the point. Yeah, come on. It's a rose between the thorns. Come on, man. The roses, they come. You know that. Come on now. As director, I gotta say, this particular project, no plans, and these guys put the whole thing in their head. It was a lot of work. It's amazing how many sheets of paper you went through and how many calculations. It was really amazing what they pulled off. It was quite amazing, yeah.
I'll tell you, I went over there when they were building this thing, and they didn't even have any plans. It
No.
came out of that man's head.
Right.
And that man's head, and that man's head.
Mhm.
And they put this together, and I bet you a commercial company would relish having a product on the market for something like that. It's a fantastic thing that they did. Excellent.
I mean, Eddie has all the calculations. He has fees on the bottom. It's too muddy. Floats going up. It's quite the product.
You better than
There you go.
Okay, next up, Chief, we have the Elkton Police Department officer promotions.
Sure, Corporal Amanda Bannock, come on up, and Sergeant Ronald, please come on up. Style. I'm gonna try this without my glasses.
Need to back up a little bit. You're proud of me. Watch it.
No way to go.
Entertainment.
Okay, Corporal Amanda Bannock. Oh, you all right?
You must be
All right.
This is on the New York Times, we don't want to write.
Okay. I won't read while you're taking the picture.
Okay, here we go. Got it.
All right. Okay, promoted to the rank of corporal is Amanda Bannock. A little background on newly promoted Corporal Bannock. She grew up in Cambria, PA, where she graduated high school. Then attended Indiana University of Pennsylvania, obtaining a bachelor's degree in criminology. Later returning to obtain her police officer certification, which is also known as Act 120 certification from that same college. Amanda joined EPD in September of 2010, became officer first class in 2011, and is now promoted actually officially on November 11th, 2018, and she's assigned to a patrol squad under the supervision of Sergeant Angelo Giappes, and we congratulate Amanda for being promoted. Ron Odom, promoted to the rank of sergeant, and is now the head of the Criminal Investigation Division. Grew up in Cecil County, graduated from Northeast High School. I guess we'll forgive you for that. Graduated from the Eastern Shore Criminal Justice Academy in 1988 and joined the Elkton Police Department in March of 1999. Promoted officer first class in March of 2002. Corporal in July of 2005. And November 11th of 2018, promoted to the rank of sergeant. Want to ceremonially swear you both in. So please just raise your right hand. I state your name.
Amanda Bannock.
Very good. And do swear and affirm
Do you swear and affirm?
that I support the Constitution of the United States, and I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland and support the Constitution and laws thereof.
What he said.
And that I will, to the best of my ability, skill, and judgment,
And that I will, to the best of my ability, skill, and judgment,
diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice.
diligently
All that.
and faithfully without
I'm sure I'm good. Somebody did this to me one time. Execute the office of,
execute the office of corporal.
Sergeant.
at your board. Yeah, according to the Constitution and laws of this state. Congratulations.
Fantastic. I wanted to, and I think speaking, I'm sure the board will mention something later, but great job to not only our police officers for their promotions and the job that they're doing, but thank you Public Works and the team for doing what they're doing down at Marina Park. It means a lot to this community, the work that we're doing down there. I'm very proud of that. Okay, next up, we got Mr. Dwight Tomey. Come on down, sit down there. One has a request of waiver of sewer fees for the property located at 8, I think it's 801 Elkton Boulevard.
I never claimed to be perfect.
Tell us what you got.
Good evening. I have with me tonight William Chan, Philip Chan's brother, and Kenny and Mansara. And their desire is to create and expand a business in the old Pirelli Cable Building, where they would use all or most of that building to produce tortillas. And one of the things that's got them concerned is the fact that they use a lot of water, but in all candor, they don't. Most of it doesn't go in your sewer system; it goes in the product, and they're perfectly willing and able to pay for the water bill, but they're concerned about paying for the sewer charge when they're really not disposing of most of their water. It's going into the product and going out the door and goes where it goes to. Some of it evaporates in the cooking process. So they've indicated to me, and I don't know that I may have missed a zero in my letter, but they basically indicated to me that about 80 to 85% of the water goes out in the cooking process and in the product. So there's about a 15 to 20% at most that would be used by the employees in the bathroom, that sort of thing. So they're not sure that they can separately meter the sewer. I don't know whether you guys know that or not. I mean, but what they would offer, the alternative is if they could pay somewhere around 5% of their water bill, reduce, in other words, reduce their sewer, so it only represent 20%, roughly 15 to 20%.
Wait, do we have an idea how many gallons of water would be used?
You had told me about 450,000 gallons of water.
We want to use more or less around 2,500 gallons of water in 24 hours.
2,500 gallons
Yes.
every 24 hours?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
And the request is basically a reduction of 80 to 85%.
right.
Are we
We take the water bill and take like 15, 20% of it and use that as the flow for sewer charges.
How many, are we creating jobs? How many employees do you think that you'll be
The
hiring?
project is in 3 different stages. In the first one, we are supposed to hire at least around 10 people. And the end of the project is going to take 2-3 years to complete. Probably it's going to be around 20, 25 people.
Okay.
So the creation of jobs is
Are you operating somewhere now?
Excuse me?
Are you currently running a business somewhere else?
Well, no, myself, I'm going to be in charge. Yeah, I'm involved in another project in North Carolina, but I'm going to move here to Maryland and start a new project. And
You're doing a different product, you said?
no, not the same tortilla factory.
Oh, okay.
because, you know, cheap tortilla, flour, all these like the Mexican restaurant for people.
I was just at Peter Wood's family just opened a new restaurant in Northeast last night. Was thinking of them because speaking of tortilla. I don't know where it was made, but it wasn't made here, obviously.
Is this a brand tortilla, or is it something you sell in the grocery stores or warehouses or restaurants?
Mainly what we want to do is to sell to the distributors. They sell to the different restaurants, and that's what we want to do.
Steve, I'm going to ask you if you could work up a calculation for us.
That 2,500 gallons for 24 hours, is that, you'll be operating around the clock? Every day of the week?
Yeah, that's the idea, sir. Probably not in the beginning, the first weeks, you know, but later on, probably in 2 months, we're going to be running 24 hours. In the beginning, 3 days a week, later on, 5 days a week, you know, depends how the business is growing. But yeah, the idea is to run 24 hours in plant.
So it's initially 3 to 5 days, but potentially expanding to all 7 days?
That is correct. The least 6 days, because we need 1 day to clean and maintenance and sanitation. So.
If you could work that calculation up for the board. Does the board have any questions? It's pretty straightforward request that you're asking for. Mary Jo, you had a comment, question?
No, I'm good.
So when is the desired date that you would like to initiate this, to begin work here?
When we want to begin this plan?
Operation.
Well, right now we're in the process to receive the equipment, install, make the connection, go with the health department, get the certification, and then we are talking probably by the end of January, February, more or less, depends how everything's going.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Gene, you have any comments, questions? Good?
No, I think they answered.
No? I would say that we'll take this under consideration, and we will have a response for you by the next meeting.
Okay, and I think you had mentioned that there'd be a substantial investment in the building to do all this and in that area, correct? You know, be bringing in equipment and improving the building, so you'll have a little bit of additional tax rate.
Yeah, and personal property tax.
Thank you for hearing us out. You got anything else you want to say? I think they're kind of excited to try to make, that building's kind of been a catch can
It has
for so long. It
been.
would be nice to really get something in there
Yep.
that maybe is stable. And I do know the Mexican restaurant business seems to be expanding this company. So I think this is a good idea. These guys seem to know what they're doing. They're already in the business down south.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Lou, you're on.
One of the things I'd like to comment while Mr. Tony is here is that we would, when we get back to them, we'll require a piping plan. We actually need to see how water is piped in that facility. Because if we know what water goes where, it's easier to do a more accurate arrangement that would satisfy both your clients and the town. Okay?
I think the meter is already there. It's already installed for the previous tenant. There is a meter, a water meter. It comes in as a main pipe, and we meter all the other tenants. So there is a
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
Right.
Because if that can help us, that'll help you.
Right.
So we appreciate your investment in our community, and we'll be working with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
My turn.
Your turn, sir.
Okay, the first item I have is ordinance 13-2018, I'm sorry. This amends the Elkton Police Pension Plan, which is codified in section or chapter 2.28 of the town code. And the reason these amendments are being made is that we have a few officers that are approaching their 25th year. And as they approach that decision in their careers, they can retire at 25 years at 50% of their income based on the pension plan, or they can enter into the drop program, the deferred program for 5 years, and then at the end of that drop program retire. But because they have 25 years of service, some of the records that we had with respect to workers' comp or whatever in history, in their history, may not be accurately available. So we've made amendments, and I'll read what those amendments are.
All right.
Under crediting of service during paid leave of absence, the amendment will include, for purposes of calculating years of service, including fractional years of service for periods on or after July 1, 2010, a covered employee on a leave of absence for reasons of illness or injury will be deemed to be on paid leave of absence so long as the covered employee's rate of pay is not reduced and so long as he or she is paid directly by the town or through a town-sponsored wage continuation insurance. But the individual will not be considered to be on a paid leave of absence under circumstances where payments are made solely for the purpose of complying with workers' compensation, unemployment insurance, or disability insurance. Section 4 of this crediting of service during paid leave of absence reads, for the purpose of calculating years of service, including fractional years of service for periods prior to July 1, 2010, an individual on a leave of absence for reasons of illness or injury will be deemed to be on paid leave of absence so long as the covered employee is receiving payments to workers' compensation through town-sponsored disability insurance. Under E of this section, the words are added, except as provided in subsection D4 of this section which I just read. A leave of absence where the participant's rate of pay is reduced shall constitute an unpaid leave of absence. Service credit shall not be granted for an unpaid leave of absence that extends for a full calendar month unless the leave of absence is military service or family leave. Family leave refers to the Family Medical Leave Act. Under the Military and Family Medical Leave Act, these are counted as hours served. And then under G of this section, the words are added except as provided in subsection D3 of this section. A participant will receive credit for service for that portion of unpaid leave of absence during which the participant is deemed on leave under the Family Medical Leave Act of 1993 or for a reason other than those covered in subsections D and E. The only other words added to this are under fractional credit of service for the purpose of determining the extent to which a participant is vested in his or her accrued benefit and for purposes of determining eligibility for normal retirement benefits under section 2.28210, these are sections within the plan. The participant shall receive credit on the basis of the number of full years of service, except as provided in section 2.28120. A participant shall receive fractional credit equal to 1/12 of a year of service for each calendar month during which he or she was a covered employee for the entire month, but shall receive no fractional credit with respect to any calendar month during which he or she was not a covered employee for the entire month. Those are the sections that have been added to amend this section 2.28 of the pension plan. This was reviewed by Paul Madden of the White Taylor and Preston in Baltimore. It's a law firm that created the pension plan, so we go to him. No, nothing against John, but they're our specialists for pension. So it has been reviewed and signed by Mr. Madden as legally sufficient and in proper form.
Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 13-2018, police pension plan presented for introduction?
Yes, for introduction.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Yes, your fractional years are determined basically how again? Are those days or?
If it's a month, you get the 1/12 credit for each month you serve.
So what is the minimal for your fractional year, 1 month?
Yes.
Okay.
Any
Next
other-
item, I'm sorry.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item I have, American Red Cross. The board's well aware that we rent the 207 Louisville Avenue to the American Red Cross, and they renew on an annual basis for just 1-year terms. The current term will expire on March 30th of 2019, and they've asked that we extend that lease for another year, beginning March 31st, 2019, and expiring March 31st, 2020. I don't think the board has any plans for that building at the present time, and the American Red Cross serves a valid and important function in our community. So I would recommend, in the absence of any need for that building by the town, that we continue a 1-year lease with the American Red Cross for 207 Blue Ball Avenue.
Do we have a motion to approve a 1-year extension of the lease for the premises located at 207 Blue Ball Avenue for the American Red Cross?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on that? I would like to, if we ever need that building, please let us know.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Next, I have a waiver for alcoholic beverage restrictions for December 8th. This is the Mayor and Commissioners recognition gala upstairs. This waiver will allow the use of distribution of alcoholic beverages during a period of time covering December 8th.
We have a motion to approve the request for alcohol waiver.
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item, I'm not sure if the board's familiar with this or not, but probably about 10 months ago, we had started a process by which the Cecil County government would transfer land in Park Creek that's adjacent to Howard's Pond to the town of Elkton. It involves 9 separate parcels and composing 5.9218 acres totally. This is unimproved land, trees, bushes, and things of that nature. And in order for the county to transfer this land to the town has to comply with certain FEMA restrictions. Since the county purchased this land using hazard mitigation funds, which are federal funds, the land has to be preserved as open space, unimproved open space. There are only a few provisions in this exhibit that allow the town to do anything if they wanted to. I doubt if they will, but the property includes, now I'm reading one of the restrictions here under the term, property shall be dedicated and maintained in perpetuity as open space for conservation of natural floodplain functions. Such uses may include parks for outdoor recreational activities, wetlands management, nature reserves, cultivation, grazing, camping, except where inadequate warning time is not available, unimproved, unpaved parking lots, buffer zones, and other uses consistent with FEMA guidance on open space acquisition, hazardous mitigation system, requirements for property acquisition and relocation of open space. Structures are permitted on it, but the structures have to be open on all sides and meet all the FEMA requirements, and a public restroom is permitted. The other terms of this this exhibit include if the town would ever transfer, lease, or otherwise convey any portion of its interest, then the party, the successor, would have to assume all the restrictions that FEMA would put on the town at that point in time. But I don't anticipate 5 acres of land that is strictly for preserved open space and floodplain purposes to be conveyed to any party. But anyway, this will be recorded with the deed, so after we're all dead and gone, if somebody ever wants to do that, then it'll be in the matter of the land records of Cecil County. So I would recommend that the board approve Exhibit A so I can get it over to Jason Allison and satisfy the FEMA requirement, and that deed for those properties can be prepared and submitted to the town.
And so everyone's on the same page. This is the land as soon as you go past Howard's Pond to the right.
Yeah, it's to the right.
And
on the right side.
It was an area that the county, if you remember, there used to be a lot of houses through there. And when we had Hurricane Floyd, the county was able to get funding to buy out those houses. This will be a nice extension for us, in my view, for Howard's, for Meadow Park East, kind of an extension back behind the hatchery ponds. We can continue to go on back through there. So do we have a motion to accept Exhibit A? Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Okay, next item I have, Elkton Armory right of entry agreement. In order for the town's intent to purchase the Elkton Armory, in order for our people, our employees, to enter on that property, we have to have an executed right of entry. And that document was sent to me. I made some modifications to it, sent it back, and they were approved by the Department of General Services and the Military Department. In order for the town to actually go on that property and to do anything, to look around, to make any tests or anything, we have to have this right of entry. To make uninvasive or strictly observations, the Military Department will be allow us to do that, and a military person will actually be with us when we do it, similar to the tour that we took. But if we want to do any testing or bring in any contractors, and some other terms kick in as to insurance and liability things. The town has already satisfied the Attorney General and the Military Department with our insurance, so we're covered. And if the board approves this right of entry agreement, I'll send that down to the Department of General Services and the Military Department. When they execute it, then we'll have an opportunity to go over there and start looking around a little more carefully than we did just at the tour. So I would recommend that the board approve a right of entry agreement with the state of Maryland and the state military department in order for us to get into that armory and look around.
We have a motion to approve the Elkton Armory right of entry agreement.
Also moved.
We have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, last item I have, certified seal. They sweep all our streets. We've had a contract with them. The contract expires very shortly, actually expiring very shortly, and this month. And they have asked for a new or renewal of that agreement for a 3-year period. They will maintain their $100 an hour charge for the first fiscal cycle, and they want $105 for the second and third cycles of the contract. I don't think they're extraordinary additional cost for the town if you want to continue 520 hours a year of street sweeping for the town. So it's up to the board if they want to continue using certified seal or continue actually paving, sweeping the streets. And I would recommend that they stick with certified seal. They've done a good job for us. And I would recommend that they approve a 3-year extension to the contract.
We have a motion to accept the 3-year renewal with Certified Seal Sweeping Company.
So moved.
A motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion?
I'd just like to mention, they do an excellent job. I'm usually in my office when they're going around, but I noticed last week, the cars on Main Street were awful, and they can't really do their job. And, you know, there's signs posted, but they're not getting it. I don't know if we need to start ticketing some that are
We
there.
had, and we'll have to go back to it.
Okay.
And just in the past 2 months.
I
we went
know,
out
it's
and
just
put,
really started again.
warnings on the cars, and we had a couple weeks of completely clear streets. So, okay, yeah,
They were compliant after you
Thank
put the,
you.
they were complying after
Yeah.
you put the notices
Yeah.
in.
right.
Any other discussion? You're none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's the items I have this evening.
You got an update on the community center?
Yes, we received 4 proposals, one from Nolan Associates, one from Wickersham Construction Engineering, one from Willow Construction Company out of Easton, and another, I call it a semi-proposal, from a company called Groton out of Washington. I pretty much scrapped the third because they didn't even comply with the RFP. But Nolan, we're going to look at Nolan and probably Nolan and Wickersham the closest, because they're closest to our budget figure. And actually, Wickersham's bid is $50,000 below our $3.5 million budget. Nolan's higher, so I don't know if they'll be in the running. And Willow was $140,000 above, so they'll probably put themselves out of business on that one too. So we're going to talk about Wickersham's proposal tomorrow morning and get a list of questions to them about their proposal and get some details on the specifications they're going to use, particularly the gym floor. They're including a wooden gym floor, which we want for the courts and everything. And I got specifications today about how they'll install that. And they look pretty good to me, but we'll have somebody look at it to make sure. Chip brought that up about specifications for how you properly put in a gym floor so it can be, get the most performance and longevity out of it.
And that's very important because.
Oh, yeah.
we'll do that all the time.
I told the Wickersham, that's probably one of the most critical elements that we have that gymnasium, and they're aware of it, so don't worry, we'll watch that very carefully. But that's where we are, and it looks very positive.
We know what the inside's gonna look like, but how do we know what the outside design is gonna be?
It's the outside, they have given us an elevation, it's a metal frame building, because part of this will be what's called an open, because the gym has to be an open thing, and the siding is metal, it's a metal siding building, that's their proposal. Because if it was masonry or something, it'd be a lot more expensive than $3.5 million.
Very good. Anything else? Very good.
That's the items I have.
That's for, I think, the shop for the copper group.
It is.
Okay, Lou, that's all you have to report.
Yes.
Okay, we've got a few appointments I'd like to make tonight. The board has agreed to do a advisory board and for Parks and Rec. And with us moving forward with not only the community center, but we're also moving forward with the I'm going to call it the Elk Landing Park down by Elk Landing, the fields, which I think Lou's given Dan some direction. I don't know. We're checking on a few things, but hopefully.
We will have to do a grading plan. We've already had a survey. Casey, I did a survey, and Dan's already looking into grading plan instead of erosion controls, things of that nature, because the topo there, if you get down there and look, it's like 5 or 6 foot difference, so unless you like to play football in a really challenging environment, probably have to flatten it out a little bit.
Well, I think what's great about having a second option is what we're going through right now. Of course, the whole total year, and what we're going through now. Meadow Park is closed again. It's maybe as bad as it's been all year, if not in years.
It's worse now because you can't drive.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty out there, and you know, I pushed Mary to try to do some outdoor events, and quite frankly, we can't. You've been 100% right. You can't do outdoor events. You can't plan on them if your park is going to be closed. But once we get this new park up and running, we're going to have a nice facility over at Elk Landing, and then we're going to have the community center. That's why I thought it was very important, not only to hear your input and the board's input, but I think from a group of residents of our town that see things from a different perspective. And we had, would you say, 10 applicants? And what we're going to do, and listen, we had 10 great applicants, but I'm going to just take the first 5 applicants we got, and that's going to be our board. Hopefully, if this board will appoint them, and I'll go one at a time and ask for your approval. I'd like to, the first appointee, I'd like to appoint Ed Ginder to the Parks and Rec Board. We have a motion to approve, Ed?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'd like to appoint Robert Davis to the Parks and Rec Board.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'd like to appoint Mary Ann Torta to the board.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second?
and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'd like to appoint Chris Linkus to the Parks and Rec Board. We have a motion
So moved.
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on Chris Linkus? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries. I'd like to appoint Brian Triatopoulos, close enough, to the Parks and Rec Board. Do we have a motion
So moved.
and a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, so this advisory board will be appointed for 1 year. The term is to start December 5th, 2018, and it'll last till December 31st, 2019. And then our goal is, I want to continually get new faces onto this board. Difference of opinion. Yes. And Mary's in control of this board. But I'd like to be at the first meeting. And so will Earl. Earl will be at the first meeting. Very good. Can we make sure that those 5 individuals are invited to the gala on Saturday night? Okay. Next, we have a vacancy on the Planning Commission. And I'd like to move to approve the appointment of Art Blunt to the Elkton Planning Commission for an unexpired term, actually from August 1st, 2018 to August 31st, 2023. We have a motion to approve Art.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on Art? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, thank you. That was good. Next, we have a couple items here. On Saturday, at the Elkton VFW from 8 a.m. to 11, we're going to have a breakfast with Santa. So all children ages 0 to 12 are welcome for this free event. Santa will be on hand to listen to your wish list. So hopefully the breakfast is going to be being served by the Elkton FOP, the VFW Auxiliary, the Marine Corps League, and the Knights of the Fallen. So the event is sponsored by all those organizations, and hopefully we'll see everyone at the Elkton VFW Saturday morning, 8 to 11.
And there's also going to be free pony rides from 12 on.
Oh, very nice, from 12 on. Also, we have another grand opening in Elkton, the Maryland Beer Company. It's actually at the Cecil Wigg Building, but their grand opening is Saturday at noon. So there'll be I'm assuming a ribbon cutting for the Maryland Beer Company. So I have stopped in there, and I'm a member of their beer club. So I'll be there, I guess, drinking one beer, I guess. No, I wouldn't join. You had to join. It was you had to buy your own mug, and every time you come in there, you can drink out of your mug. And so I went ahead and joined. It hurt me to join, of course, but I went ahead and joined. Very excited about that. So I'll see everyone Saturday at noon. Also, I had the opportunity to attend the county council meeting yesterday. The new board was sworn in the day before, but I made it to the council meeting, and we've been very, very fortunate that I think we've got a very good council board, and certainly I would say a dear friend of mine, Bob Meffley, is the president of the board. I'm very excited for him, and of course Bob's came to many of our meetings, so I'm very excited for him to be the president of the board. With that, that's all I have to say tonight. Miss Mary Jo, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm going to add to the VFW. I have a friend that's been on the roof there for a couple days. He's going to be there 12 days, and I say Bruce on the roof, like Elf on a Shelf. But he's collecting toys for the children in need. Last Saturday, him and his different groups, they ended up making 204 dozen of cookies to send to the troops. So it's incredible what they're doing there. So stop by and say hello. He's sleeping there. There's a tent on the roof, and bring a toy for the needy. I do want to thank Katie for our Cash for Christmas article in the paper. It has gone crazy this year. We are well over what we made all of last year now. And we have cards to put in that are, and they're coming from everywhere. Today, there was Media Pennsylvania we were putting in the computer. So we're really excited about that, about people shopping downtown. And as I say, it pays to shop in downtown Elkton. So that's all I have to say.
Well, this Friday, you want to give a preview of Friday?
Oh, this Friday, yes, it's the Cookie Throwdown. One of our most popular events. If you haven't been there, we have little maps and entries to choose your favorite cookie. They're in all the businesses. We held off at 10 cookies. We had a lot of phone calls of people that wanted to join this, but it's just too many cookies. So go into the businesses, taste your cookie, and choose your favorite cookie. And we also have Immaculate Conception that the mayor's involved with, having a social in the visitor center. So it's gonna, and Joe Zarullo, it's First Friday. So our own Captain Zarullo will have artwork in the pout and the page.
It's there now.
It's there now, but so come out First Friday. It's going to be a very big night in Elkton. And thank you, Dan, for the decorations. Although I do like the tree lit all day, but you're saying no.
Earl, you're on.
Just have one invitation for the Parks and Rec on December the 12th, that is Wednesday. The Parks and Rec would like to invite you to join them at their holiday showcase as they dance their way into the holiday season. That'll be at the Elkton High School Auditorium at 6 p.m. You get there at 5 o'clock, you'll be there early. So anyway, please let Mary or Cheney know if you plan to attend, but everyone else, that's it.
I would like to bring up to the board, I know that Earl does a lot for the community, and I know they're hosting an event for your daughter who has lupus, and that is on
December 16th.
December 16th, and I'd like to see if maybe the town of Elkton could make a contribution in her name for that event. So
What's the event?
December 18th, they're having a,
16th.
16th, having a concert.
From 4 to 6 at Elkton Middle School.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, it's celebrating our 25th year anniversary of Gospel Singers. And we decided to dedicate that to the Luther's Foundation since he's battling through that. We've gone through a couple of things the last couple of months, and we figured we'd surprise her.
And what are the times, I'm sorry?
4 o'clock to 6 at Elkton Middle School.
Well, I think we'll be able to do something. Charles?
We've already answered one question about the park, because I had down here, what is the status of the park going forward, so we know what that is. Secondly, I know Gene at one time had asked about a workshop in which we were going to discuss lighted property. Where did that go? Lois?
I think it's going to be on the next work, is it on the next workshop?
Yes, because
Yeah.
of absences at the last workshops, we wanted the entire board to be
So we took
Actually, one of the
over,
blighted properties we're going to discuss at the workshop won't be there anymore.
yeah, well, the next meeting it'll
It'll
be
be
knocked
gone?
down.
Yeah,
It will be
324,
gone.
we're just waiting for Joe to give us a a contractor to give us a schedule to bring the machine in and their trucks, and it should be out. I talked to the owner of the adjacent property, Mr. Whited. He is thrilled that his investment in his property will look much better without that burned out pulp next door. So I was up there today, but I think
Thank you for all your hard
that'll
work.
be,
Everybody.
very soon.
And that'd be great, but I'm looking in terms of there are still other blighted
Oh, yeah.
properties around the town. And I know years back, I know Dwight was a great pusher for that as well, was trying to get us to remove some of that. But if you ride through Elkton, it's all over. I don't know what direction we can go because there are many, but certainly you can set the pattern for something. I just see it all the time. You know, your owner of the house, and I think that's your responsibility to take care of them the best of your ability. And the last is, yesterday I attended the active shooter, no, it wasn't active shooter, chief, it was the active training.
Yeah, active threat.
Active threat, it calls there's so many names, and certainly that was held upstairs, and there were 30 employees in attendance, other than a few of us who are on the town board, and it was well done. Everybody knows the world is not necessarily going crazy, but it's different than what it was 10 or 15 years ago. People don't really give a concern for the elements of others' lives, and you never know in what situation you may be in, and this is going to happen. It's important, and I urge those on the next workshop, if you can be there, to certainly go, because the world is different, and I don't think we're going to change it, not soon, and that's important again. So if you have the chance, please attend. And Chief, you and Lieutenant did a very good job yesterday.
Thank you.
It opens our eyes up to what might be out there. And they gave an example of McDonald's. You want to give that, please?
Yeah, sure. We're discussing how society has become somewhat desensitized to firearms and things that go on. And somebody walks into our own McDonald's this past weekend with a mock-up AR-15, a look-alike is what we call it. And they didn't do anything. Went up and ordered a Happy Meal or something, I guess. And, but nonetheless, the officers who responded walk in, and nobody's even reacting to it. Here's this guy standing there in line, ordering a meal, and he's got a AR-15 on his side. You would have thought it was a real gun from a distance. And the officers walked in, and he was at the counter. They walked in and just kind of gently grabbed him from behind and took him out, and determined that it was a plastic or toy gun.
Well, what was his thinking? Was he trying to rouse us up?
He didn't think that that it really mattered. He was just, he had it with him. I don't think he was, the elevator wasn't all the way up with the guy.
But your point's well taken, because it's the people around, like you said, they're desensitized.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
See something, say something.
Yeah, exactly, and
Exactly.
something that we hit on, see something, say something, and if you see something that looks out of place, that should have looked out of place to somebody. Well, it did to one person, an employee who was getting off his or her shift, walked out of the building and called 911, and that's how we were alerted to it.
I did notice too that there were some recommendations made.
Yeah.
Yes.
So are we waiting till after the second thing to address them, or is something we're just gonna systematically take care of?
Yeah, I think some of those things probably we have to
The
do.
doors would be easy to take care of.
He has some very good recommendations, but
Yeah.
I talked to Chip today, and we have to engage an architect for a reconstruction of part of our administration section in order to do some of those. It's not just throwing up stuff. It'll involve very complex architectural change in there.
Okay. I'm going to be a little selfish here. I wasn't able to make it, and I probably will not be able to make the 11th. But if you have any interest in maybe doing an early evening one, I was thinking maybe some merchants might be interested in attending something like that.
You know, and it was so good, I would even think the public would be interested if
Well,
you're in
maybe
a
the-
mall or a
the public,
church.
yeah. I do, I mean, yeah, I was just thinking to start, at least places of business where these things tend to occur.
Yeah.
You know, just in case you are available or interested
Yeah,
in
sure, okay.
doing something like that. So I'm a little selfish on my part too,
That's
if
all
I
right.
get to it, but, you know. I thought I can't be the only person that would benefit by another opportunity.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
I'm done.
Were you done?
I'm sorry, I'm.
Gene, you're up.
It's all-
You're up
You
now.
gotta go, you gotta go.
Dan, I don't know why we call your wife General, but she did a fantastic job.
Watch her around my back,
But-
you'll see why.
Okay, I feel uncomfortable doing that, I just didn't understand that. But we're really lucky to have such fantastic
Yeah.
artistic talent. Please convey our appreciation.
I'll tell her thank you.
It's already done. I had one thing come up. I was thinking about the tortilla place. I should have asked, I wasn't thinking, but do we have any other circumstances existing right now where we have outgoing flow meters that we
You can't-
adjust?
Flow meters aren't good. We've tried using them before.
Okay.
The only way to really accurately find out how to do this, if you want to segregate water from your water and sewer discharge, would be to have a piping guy or a piping layout in that building that we could verify that it would go strictly into a product or equipment use and not have a discharge of any method, you know, that would go into our system.
Okay.
A separate meter could be used to target water that actually is used and goes into the system. That would be my thinking on how to deal with that, you know. But there are other major corporations in the town of Elkton that would probably seize on the opportunity to do similar things.
I don't think it's a lot of water, actually.
I couldn't imagine the amount of water he was talking about.
No, I was thinking it was gonna be hundreds of thousands of gallons, and it's like, it's still a lot of water, but it's, based on the 3 days, it's at 30,000 gallons a month, 90,000 a quarter. That's not a,
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm confused, because they were saying 450,000 per month.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
They have a big number first, right?
yeah, but he said 2,500 a day.
Yeah.
Maybe he was thinking a year.
Yeah, if you go.
Well, we're gonna get those numbers just anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna have, go over there to the plant chef or somebody, go over there and find out how it's laid out, how it's going to be laid out.
That's all I have.
Yeah. Anything else? Very good. This is time we open up the floor for the public. Do they have anything to say this evening? Mr. Ed Ginder? Lives on Hunter Place, 102 Hunter?
Yes. No, 98.
98 Hunter.
First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for appointing me to Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, having your faith in me, my abilities. Appreciate it. I think there's exciting years lying ahead as far as Parks and Recreation in town. My main reason being here tonight is I'm vice president of the board of directors for Shop and the Cop, Cecil County. And I just want to bring mayor and council up to date as far as what we're going to do. The event is held December 15th the Elkton Alliance, I talked to Mary Jo, and what we're going to do is we're going to work on a flyer to send around to the local business people, letting them know approximately when the parade will be starting, as far as the police cars in the morning, probably between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, and then about 12 o'clock to 12:30. The children are given an hour and a half to shop. After they're done shopping, we have volunteers, local sports teams, members from sports teams, packing their toys in plastic bags. Then they load them up in a truck and they take them over to the Singley Fire Hall, where we have volunteers individually wrapping each one of the gifts. Last year we served 97 children. This year we're going to serve 108. And all these people were referred by the Cecil County Social Services and also guidance counselors within elementary schools and middle schools in Cecil County. Also, we had some apply that were not recommended by the Social Services Department or guidance counselors that were considered. We're going to be meeting at Singley Fire Company. The participants will be coming at around 8:30 in the morning. We're going to have a flashing sign on 213, the back entrance to the fire hall, instead of coming in off of 279 due to traffic problems and public safety issues. The Cecil County Public Schools have graciously given us a bus for overflow parking. We'll be hauling volunteers from Elkton High School to the Singley Fire Hall during the day. The children who are picked will be assigned officers, and they will be riding in a police car or an emergency vehicle. So we're expecting between 90 to 100 emergency vehicles, police cars, etc. Sheriff's departments, individual towns, and also state police will be involved. The route to be taken, you have each one of you in front of you. The actual route, we're going to be leaving Singley Fire Hall, take a left out of there onto 279, take a right onto North Street, all the way down to Main Street, take a left onto Main Street, and a right onto Delaware Avenue, out to Route 40, left on Route 40 to Walmart. And we're coming back the same way. We're going to buck traffic coming down Main Street again. The Elkton Police Department has graciously supplied personnel at each of the intersections, and we're also going to utilize fire police to help aid. And I understand the Elkton Police Department is going to have 4 officers involved during the ceremonies. They'll return back to Singley around 12:30. They will be given a lunch, and gifts will be packed. And also the parents or guardians, whoever in charge of the children, will also get a turkey at the end of the day to take home for the holidays. Lunch is provided by Chick-fil-A, graciously giving us lunch again. And in closing, I encourage any of the mayor and council to participate in this event. It's quite an event. Thank you.
How's this
Any
paid
questions?
for?
Pardon?
How's the cost of this? Who pays for it?
We have a lot of big sponsors, and also we had a gala in March where we had a silent auction where we raised a lot of money, and also we sold some sponsorships from the people bought to support the children. So, any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Thank the town of Elkton for being involved.
Anyone else have anything to say?
I just wanted to duck in and say, the letter I had sent, some of the math wasn't adding up, and I just sat out there all.
We already figured that out.
And picked their brains, got through, sort of thing. So I'll send you a letter to explain the whole mathematics of the thing, so that it's, my actual numbers were close but not exactly right, so I'll get all that over to you, so you have more accurate information. And I told them that they need to contact the town and get somebody over there to take a look at how the thing is piped, so, because part of the business will be the manufacturing part, and that's the part that needs to be separately metered from everything else that they're doing on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, Dwight.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything to say this evening? This meeting is adjourned. Sleeping over there?
Yep. Again.
There you go.
Yeah, they were challenging.